Okay, I'm starting the recording right now, so if I proceed like this, you should be able to see it clearly. Shouldn't you agree? You can see things on the screen like the tax pro guang chart, correct?
There.
Okay, yes, got it. We'll record for about 8 minutes and then we'll finish up. Yes, hello there. This is Tax Pro Guang from TaxClinicAccounting. Based in Montreal, I offer tax filing services for individuals and comprehensive accounting and tax services for business owners. Today, I will be speaking with a couple who, after living in Montreal for some time, decided to relocate and are now residing in the Alberta region. We'll be discussing their experiences during this transition. Since your last names start with H and L, I'll just call you H and L for short. Hello, Mr. H and Mrs. L.
Hello.
Yes, thank you. Please consider this as simply reiterating the points we just covered and talked about a moment ago. Firstly, could you briefly describe your initial relocation experience and how you came to hire Tax Clinic Accounting?
Initially, we enlisted the services of a Canadian company, and as we continued the process with that Canadian company, we mentioned our Korean real estate. They indicated that they were unable to manage the specifics regarding our Korean real estate, leading to a need for further assistance. They claimed they couldn't manage the situation themselves, so they ended up referring us to a different company, another firm where a Korean individual was employed. That accounting. They recommended that tax filing office to us, but more than a month had already gone by. When we eventually contacted that firm, we found their consultation fees to be quite exorbitant, and something about their approach just didn't feel right to us. Like, it was ridiculously expensive, and we just felt that there was nothing we could trust, like a review or anything.
Let me briefly recap. As I recall, you resided in Montreal. Approximately what year did you first arrive in the country?
December 2019.
You came into the country around December 2019. But what year was it that you actually commissioned my services?
2020?
Yes, last year.
I think it was early March. No, early April of last year.
So it was last year, not this year?
It was this year.
It was this year, right? April 2020. Yes. If you had come in 2019, I, at Tax Clinic Accounting, would have processed 4 full years for you. 2019, 20, 21, and 22, all in early 2023. But you moved to Calgary without doing any of that, didn't you?
Near Edmonton?
You had moved to the Edmonton area, and it was then that you sought our services. But when you initially sought assistance in that other province, what was the primary issue you encountered? Specifically, what did that particular firm convey to you?
Was it for 2019, 2020, and 2021? Anyway, during the time we were residing in Montreal, they proposed removing the problematic sections and only filing for the remaining duration. They suggested we just file taxes for that period, but I wanted to file taxes for the entire period, starting from 2019, so that really bothered me. That's precisely why I sought a tax professional, not merely any company, capable of managing all these tasks.
So to recap, you came to Montreal in 2019, moved to another province around early 2022 or 2023, and then looked for a tax filing firm. Was the firm you hired based in Edmonton?
I had looked into 2 different firms, one located in Edmonton and another in Vancouver. Both of these companies, however, proposed that we omit the tax filing period covering the years 2019, 2020, and 2021 entirely.
But did those specific tax firms provide any clear explanation as to why they were suggesting to exclude the tax filings for both 2019 and 2021?
They said they couldn't touch it because it was from another province. I believe they mentioned that dealing with taxes from other provinces presents some difficulties.
Let me clarify. Folks in other provinces don't file taxes for different provinces, and honestly, few do tax filings correctly. It's rare to find someone who can handle Quebec taxes. People in Quebec who do this work can handle other provinces, though. Quebec residents cannot be ignored, so they would dismiss 2019 and 2021. Did they perhaps mention any specific benefits you might forfeit by disregarding those years?
No. They merely stated, let's just file for 2021 and 2022, only those 2 years, and nothing more.
So the conclusion is what they were capable of doing was rather limited. Yes.
starting precisely from the time we relocated and settled in.
The prior year.
Ultimately, they're implying that it's only feasible to proceed with the filing starting from when we made the move from Montreal to Alberta.
You relocated around April of 2022, is that correct?
Yes, exactly. So it's only possible from that point ultimately.
Oh, was that Alberta? Oh, that was Edmonton. So the conclusion is that those firms said they could only handle your tax filing from 2022 onwards, and that you should just proceed with 2022 and 2023, regardless of any lost benefits from the past. Is that right?
Yes, that's pretty much it.
Well, this is an important point to clarify, as it also pertains to child benefits and several other relevant factors. If you simply disregard those past years, you'll essentially just lose a significant sum of money, approximately $10,000 to $20,000, just like that. If you simply disregard it and calculate from the date you moved, the child benefit would essentially restart for another 18 months, which doesn't align with logical reasoning, does it?
Yes, that's right.
That aspect doesn't quite align. So when you entrusted your case to the tax clinic accounting, Ms. L, you must have been thinking, why would they disregard those previous tax filings? You wouldn't know. But MSL, did you think past filings were beneficial or more disadvantageous?
Ah, I knew we had to file from 2019 to get the benefit, and the child benefit was the biggest part of it for me.
Okay.
Then I wouldn't be in a position to receive that benefit.
Did you perhaps talk about that specific issue with the tax service provider you used previously?
Even after we told them our exact entry date, they were reluctant. This was especially so because it involved another province, particularly Quebec. They seemed quite perplexed, you see. Yes, that was the situation we found ourselves in, making it a scenario where we really couldn't change anything at all, and that was problematic. The child benefit was at stake anyway, and for instance, we needed to claim what was retroactively due from our date of entry. If that wasn't properly handled, it could easily get quite entangled, couldn't it?
But let me ask you this. You keep mentioning the entry date as if you know it so well. So was that something you two were absolutely certain about right from the very start? Or was it after our discussion that your understanding became more solidified and clear? Yes?
We first arrived here on a student visa, and when we were still in Montreal under that student visa, we actually tried to do our tax filing once. We made an attempt to declare our taxes, but at that time, we couldn't remember what that specific identification number was called.
SIN.
SIN.
They informed us there was a method to proceed even without a SIN number, so we visited a local tax office for advice. We received a consultation, but then, well, we had actually sold our home right around the time of our entry into the country. We sold the house during the very month of our arrival, and that's precisely what became the primary problem. Initially, they told me I might have to pay an additional $10,000 in taxes because of that specific issue. This immediately led me to wonder, how am I going to come up with $10,000 when I don't even have that kind of money right now? Well, since I wasn't categorized as someone who needed to file a tax return, I just decided to put it off until a later time. So I completely dropped the idea back then, and after that,
If you had sold your house upon entering the country, given that you would have owned it for only a few months, your tax liability would likely have been minimal, if any at all, when you consider the circumstances.
Well, they told me $10,000, that if I filed, I'd have to pay $10,000. But the crucial point is that I don't believe the person I had a consultation with possessed significantly more knowledge than I did about the matter.
Right.
And then, on top of all of that, they charged me a consultation fee just for having that consultation with them. Honestly, I was utterly bewildered by the whole situation.
That was wrong. No. If the sale was completed at the time of your entry, then the period after your arrival in Canada would be negligible, meaning the income reported would be very low. In that case, reaching $10,000 would be quite challenging. It appears that you received inadequate guidance on that specific aspect.
Right. We arrived on December 3rd, 2019, and we sold the house on December 20th, 2019, I think. Something like that.
Then the amount is tiny, the reported amount is tiny.
Oh, is that so? They actually told me there that it would probably be around $10,000.
And they still took a consultation fee?
Yes, so I thought the cost was truly excessive. It seemed far too high. To be frank, I ended up getting a bit of a discount, like really. You should have sought out a tax clinic professional from the very beginning. So at that point, I explored other options, and that's how I eventually discovered TaxPro, or rather the Tax Clinic. Someone actually recommended it to me in an online community cafe, which was quite helpful. But the cost, when I initially looked into it, was truly exorbitant, so I simply...
So the cost was a factor in the end.
From the start, the fee, the review service cost was a bit too high.
So you went past us that one time. If you had just opted for the premium service right from the beginning, everything would have successfully turned out fine, because I would have guided you fully. So after all those difficult experiences and setbacks, you almost came to us, but instead, you went with other companies. After a month, they said they couldn't handle it. Then, when you got a referral to another company, they charged an absurdly high fee simply because you had overseas assets, even though that wasn't the most important aspect then. You found Tax Clinic, and having utilized our services, approximately 95% of the process is now finished. So, from our very first meeting and the initial guidance I provided, could you perhaps tell me what really struck you as particularly impressive or helpful? Were you able to fully grasp all the information? And do you feel I adequately explained all the crucial aspects? Could you elaborate on those specific points for me?
Yes, indeed. Whenever I had questions, you provided clear answers, enabling me to grasp how the process unfolded. Furthermore, after settling the fee, the substantial refund I received played a significant role in justifying the initial cost, which I believe was a key consideration for me. I genuinely feel that if I had handled it myself, or if I had entrusted it to a different agency, I wouldn't be experiencing this high level of satisfaction right now. My current contentment simply wouldn't be the same. Because the amount of money I got back was so significant, my satisfaction level went way up. That was a huge part of it for me, that aspect.
Naturally, since you received such a significant amount, you're now quite pleased and your excitement is growing.
Honestly, since I wound up getting back significantly more than what I had initially spent, I instinctively felt it was truly a worthwhile investment.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes. While I can't delve into every single detail, rest assured, I ensured you received every benefit and allowance you were fully entitled to. We went the extra mile to claim absolutely everything possible for you, so I definitely ensured that aspect was handled properly. So, regarding the explanations and such, you were completely satisfied and experienced no difficulties whatsoever. Right. Understood. So, you're quite content with that. Now, I always inquire about shortcomings. Was there anything that, in hindsight, felt somewhat unsatisfactory or proved to be a disadvantage perchance?
The fee, I guess.
Was it related to the fee structure? Because when it comes to the fee, we have a review service in place where we don't bill you at all unless a favorable outcome is achieved. So that's the review service. Since you got a positive result that compensated for everything, did the review service fee still feel a bit high? Or are you talking about the actual fee for the tax filing and the work involved?
I basically had a grasp of the fundamentals, so I just accepted it and moved on. But wow. The fee for the child benefit was quite substantial, and that was my primary concern. If I had to point out a downside, I think that would be it.
Are you saying that's the only issue? The child benefit application is complete, that specific application itself. The rest is for past review fees. So that's that. In addition to what we've discussed, is there anything else you might want to bring up or comment on regarding the services of Tax Clinic? The review service is rather unique, so if I were to mention it, we don't impose a fee if no results are achieved. I'd venture to say this demonstrates our consideration for the client's circumstances. Other than that, is there anything else you'd like to mention about Tax Clinic?
What to say? After using your services, we feel we can really trust you. Moreover, as you are also Korean, it truly feels as though you endeavor to give us additional special care and attention. From our perspective, we are quite content at this moment. Satisfied, yes, and we plan to continue using your services in the future, yes.
Oh, really? No, not at all. Now that you've gained this experience, I wouldn't be disappointed in the slightest if you decided to try another service. You can leave TaxPro anytime. What matters is that you have a good life here in Canada. Given all you've experienced up to this point, you've likely gained a clear understanding of what aspects are truly significant in this matter. What was that thing you brought up a little while ago, do you remember? It's not just because I'm Korean, though I suppose that could be a factor in some ways. I know you've come here and struggled in a foreign land, so I do my best. I'm sincere when I say I do my best to take care of everything and not miss a thing. I truly believe that doing things in such a manner, though money isn't everything, achieving a little more financial security can genuinely help individuals experience a profound sense of peace and tranquility. Thus, I really concentrate on ensuring you never miss out on any of your benefits. I believe you probably came to realize that through observing how I handled your affairs from the very beginning. That's what I believe. All right. Mr. H and Miss L, I want to sincerely thank you for taking part in this video review. I will continue to make sure that I complete everything for you until the very end. Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you.